I've been waiting 23 long years for this moment. After helping thousands of everyday people collect double, triple, quadruple their money in as little as just a few days, after accurately predicting the 2008, 2020, and 2022 tech crashes, even helping my readers double their money 13 times in the last year alone, there's one person I haven't been able to help. It's my 23-year-old son, Grant. Now, in the past year, I showed Grant my trading strategies, and he did double his own money, and it was incredible. But like most kids, Grant wanted to pave his own path. He left behind my proven strategies for the allure of crypto and tech stocks. And not surprisingly, over the last year, his investments have taken a colossal beating, a 60% loss. Now, I tried to warn him, but it was no use. Now, if you're a parent, I'm sure you can relate. So today we're in Miami, Florida, and in a moment, I'm going to grab Grant because it's time to help him get back on track. It's time for me to stage an emergency financial intervention. And like many people, the truth is, he's not alone in his losses. You know, over $13 trillion in household wealth has vanished in the last year alone. And the carnage, it's just beginning. And that's why I've made the choice to intervene right away and record the whole thing on camera, revealing the one secret that I've quietly used for over 3 decades to generate returns of 135%, 240%, even 373% in as little as 8 days, regardless if the market is up or down. And no matter if you have $100 to invest or $1,000, the same secret that's helping my readers capture huge profits, like Brad K., who made $40,000 in 1 week and $50,000 the next, or George K., who made $310,000, or John S., who's up over $3,600 in just 1 week. Now, if you're at all like my son and you're licking your wounds from last year, you may be wondering, how on earth is it possible to make a penny in this rocky market? Are stocks still expensive? Well, you bet they are. They cost over double where they were before the 2008 crash. But is the best solution really sitting in cash? Absolutely not. Because, as you're going to see today, we're in the middle of one of the best trading environments I've ever seen. And today, I'll also be covering a new prediction that I have for the next 12 months, critical to anyone with $1,000 or more in their brokerage account. What I call a stock shock is soon coming to America. That could be the worst or maybe the best thing for your investments, depending on how you act before October 1st. So please, don't invest another dollar until you discover the advice that I'm going to give to my son Grant. Follow me, and let's start the intervention.
All right, Dad, you wanted to talk? The cameras are rolling. What's going on?
Well, Grant, you know, when you first started trading, you were killing it. But now you told me your investment account is practically bleeding out, down, what, 60%? I mean, that's turning every $10,000 into only $4,000. And this after you already doubled your money following my recommendations. So tell me, son, what really happened?
I made a big mistake. After you helped me double my money, I got sucked into the crypto hype back in May. The promises were big, to say the least. At the time, the crypto market was down huge, and it seemed like a prime time to buy in. But ever since, I've watched my account plummet further and further.
Well, look, son, I want to be very clear about this. I'm not here today to embarrass you. And actually, I think it's quite courageous that you're willing to be here today. You know, your story could help thousands of everyday people get their retirement accounts back on track. Because, as we all know, millions of folks have recently lost a fortune. You know, MarketWatch calls this past year the worst year for the markets in at least 50 years. The savings of Americans have plummeted to the lowest level in history, the lowest level of savings you may ever see in your lifetime, Grant. Unfortunately, today is a moment I've waited 23 long years for. You know, these chaotic markets are brewing one of the best trading environments I've ever seen. And today, I'm going to show you how to profit in any market, even if the market continues to tank. You know, we're going to rebuild your retirement account starting right now. Are you ready?
Absolutely, but how exactly?
Well, you know, I taught you how to throw a curveball, and I taught you how to drive a car. Now I'm going to teach you one of the greatest money-making secrets I've ever discovered in my 38 years in the markets. More importantly, I'm going to teach you why it's critical for you to ignore 99.9% of the stock market and instead focus only on what I call the one stock retirement, the single stock that I've traded quietly now for over 3 decades, allowing me to double, even triple my investment in any market.
It's a pretty bold claim, Dad.
It sure is.
I'm not sure most people really believe they can really double their money in any market condition.
Well, sure, except the difference between me and other experts is I can back up what I'm saying. I generated millions of dollars for high net worth investors. I managed money for 100 of California's wealthiest people, including pro athletes and Silicon Valley executives. And my investing videos have been viewed over 19 million times. But this isn't to brag. I simply want you to understand the potential of this one stock secret. For example, let's jump back to late last year. It was a total market wipeout. The S&P 500 plummeted nearly 17%. Investor favorites like Tesla were down 24%. And Amazon, it lost its trillionaire status, dropping 24%. National Public Radio said, a bad year for Wall Street gets even worse. The Wall Street Journal said, buying the stock market dip is backfiring. And CNBC reported, stock market losses wipe out $9 trillion from America's wealth. The markets were crushed and the whole buying the dip philosophy just wasn't working. So what would you do, Grant?
I'm not really sure. I'd probably put my money on the sidelines, to be honest.
Well, sure. And like most investors, paralyzed by fear, that's understandable. But here's what I did instead. I recommended a one stock retirement trade to my readers. And days later, we collected a 135% return. That's double your money. But if you had your money tied to the Dow Jones during the exact same time, you would have collected a tiny 5% return. So it's kind of like it's your choice, Grant. You can make 135% or 5%. Today, you'll see how we compound trades like this over and over again in any market.
That's definitely a big difference, but how can I pull this off? I don't have decades of experience under my belt like you.
Well, just wait, because in a moment, you're actually going to demonstrate this secret live yourself, with the goal to double your money again, no matter what's happening in the market. But before we do that, you need to understand the fundamentals. And this is why I'm here today, because this financial intervention could set you on the path to financial freedom and spending only minutes per week making these trades. And Grant, you live in Miami, you're in your 20s, and I know for a fact you don't want to sit inside and look at a computer screen all day.
Absolutely not.
Well, if you had followed my trading recommendations last year, you would have doubled your money 13 times. Now think about that. It takes most people years to double their money just once, but you could have accomplished that 13 times last year alone.
This is exactly what I'm looking for, and I'm excited to dig into the details. But before we move on, can I ask you what the actual stock ticker is behind the one stock retirement?
Well, I'll tell you what, with 1,000 guesses, you probably wouldn't get it right. I mean, it's not the Dow, it's not the triple Qs, it's not the S&P 500 or any FANG stock, it's not Tesla, it's not the Russell 2000, definitely not Bitcoin or anything else. But in a moment, I'm going to tell you the exact ticker so that you can execute a trade. And I'm also going to tell you my new market prediction for the next 12 months, because I believe there's a new event that's going to make or break the investment accounts of nearly every person across the nation, including you.
All right, I'm intrigued. But before we get to your prediction, let's dig into the details of your one stock strategy, because right now, this all seems a little too good to be true.
Well, maybe so. But I personally believe this one stock to be one of the world's most predictable stocks. It has precise patterns allowing you to pinpoint its next move before it actually happens. And I've been trading it long before you were ever born. I mean, over 30 years now. It helped me double my money 26 times during the 2008 crisis, 38 times since the 2020 crash, and 13 times last year alone. And even helped me predict the 2008, 2020, and 2022 tech crashes.
Man, I sure wish you told me sooner. I wouldn't be down 60% right now.
Well, look, obviously you can't change the past, Grant, but I want you to be equipped for what's coming in the future.
All right, this time I do promise to listen.
All right, good, because living in Miami is no joke. It's actually the least affordable housing market in the country, as you well know. If you want to continue to live here and be able to eat, then you need to learn how to leverage the skill of the one stock retirement strategy. And once you do, you're always going to have a shot to generate cash in any market. And Grant, as you know, I was born on a farm in Kansas. And long before we ever had financial freedom, we didn't have the houses, the wine cellar, cars, jacuzzi, whatever else. One day on the farm, when I was just 7 years old, my grandfather and I were out on the porch, and he asked me what I wanted in life. And I told him I wanted all those flashy things. I wanted to be rich. You know what he said to me? He said, you can do all that, but you can't feed your family if there's no food to buy. So go ahead and get rich. But before you do that, you better learn to grow a tomato.
And what exactly did he mean by that?
Well, it means first, you have to learn the skills. And then once you develop a valuable skill, you'll never go poor. And this is why we're both here today. You're going to learn skill, allowing you to profit 2 times, 3 times, maybe even 4 times your money over and over again. And this is a legacy that we're going to pass down through our family. and you're next in line.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, but there's a key concept that you can't ever forget, okay? So think about it like this. Now, you've played baseball your entire life. But let me ask you something. How would your baseball career have gone if you were also at the same time trying to play soccer and football and basketball and all these other things? Do you kind of understand what I'm saying? Trying to do too many things all at once, it's going to take away from doing one thing really well. The truth is, diversification is nothing more than a distraction.
But I've always heard diversifying your portfolio is super important.
Well, yeah, sadly, I think millions of investors have been misled. It's kind of like a mirage. In fact, the average person holds 20 stocks in their portfolio, 20 stocks. Now, some financial experts even recommend holding upwards of 60 stocks. But the studies are clear on this. 80% of investors lose money in the stock market.
Obviously, something is a little off here.
Forget about babysitting a portfolio of stocks. I simply focus on what I believe to be the world's most predictable stock, profiting in any situation, even during market crashes. Let me show you. For example, Grant, when I say the words market crash, what comes to your mind?
Well, last year, that was definitely a big crash, and I know there was the COVID crash in 2020, but growing up, I remember you talking about the 2008 crash a lot.
Perfect. Absolutely. 2008. As we know, leading up to 2008, the market was in full force. The Bureau of Economic Analysis even revised its growth estimates to be higher, calling for the markets to increase. But Grant, we both know what actually happened. The S&P 500 dropped over 48%. 6 million Americans lost their jobs. More than 860,000 families lost their homes to foreclosure. The International Monetary Fund said we were on the brink of a systemic meltdown. It was an unforgettable time in our history. But instead of letting the crash ruin our livelihood, I actually warned all of my readers of the 2008 crash 10 months ahead of time. And instead of letting my investments melt away like millions of unsuspecting Americans, I recommended a few trades. Look at this.
From what I'm seeing, you were closing 197%, 204%, even 490% returns, nearly 5 times the return on your money, all while the financial world was melting down?
Yeah, before the crash, during the crash, heck, even on the way to the bottom. A simple $1,000 investment could have turned into $4,900. In fact, my readers could have doubled their money 26 times during the crisis. This was all while some of America's most elite hedge funds, over 700 funds total, had to shut down in 2008. In fact, in October of 2008, CNBC heard of my success and they asked me to come on TV to explain my strategy. And I politely refused. But now I'm bringing this one stock retirement secret into the light, quite a few years later.
I mean, who knows where we'd be as a family if you hadn't predicted the crash and made those trades. It's super impressive to say the least. But to be completely fair, Dad, that 2008 crash was a long time ago. How are things going lately?
Okay, well, that's a fair question. Now, besides the countless double and triple digit gains that I've recommended this year, let's take a look back to the 2020 crash, the biggest Dow crash in U.S. history. In advance, I was predicting a big market crash was set to hit, yet the mainstream news was saying the exact opposite. CNN said, the Dow kicks off the new year with a record high. Business Insider said, Dow breaks 29,000 threshold for the first time. Even Ray Dalio, founder of the world's largest hedge fund, was advocating holding stocks through the 2020 stock rally. But I did the opposite. I warned my readers to get out of stocks. Not once, but twice, days before the crash. Now, my readers could have completely dodged the entire crash. But it gets better because on March 18th, near the bottom, I stated that we were about to hit a 20% market rebound. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened.
All right, so you called the 2020 crash in advance and then called the bottom near perfect. But did you really make any money?
Yes, one stock retirement trades were on fire. 100% and 273% right before the crash. Then another 85% right after. And remember, this was while $3 trillion evaporated from the market. In total, I recommended 38 trades that could have doubled your money since the 2020 crash.
So you're telling me if I listened to CNBC, CNN, all those mainstream news guys, my investment would have burned and I would have missed out on 38 different opportunities to double my money?
Exactly. The simple fact here is foundational strategies that we've been taught our entire lives, well, they look much better on paper than they do in real life. Let me explain. Because it's not just the mainstream news leaving millions of everyday investors behind. It's also the world's #1 investor.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm talking about Warren Buffett.
Come on, Dad. You're not really going to call out Warren Buffett live on camera?
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt that Warren Buffett is a genius in his own right. I mean, he started with roughly $100,000 and turned it into a $100 billion fortune. He is a master at finding dozens of undervalued stocks and holding on to them for dear life as they grow over the course of decades.
Yeah, but what's the issue? $100,000 into $100 billion sounds like a pretty good return to me.
Well, Grant, I mean, is the everyday person supposed to follow the same model? Most people don't have tens of thousands of dollars of free cash to invest into a portfolio of undervalued stocks. They just don't. I mean, even if they did, you'd have to wait 10, 20, 30, 50 years or more to see any decent return. For instance, 99% of Warren Buffett's wealth came after he was 50 years old. And the largest majority of that was after he turned 72 years old.
Okay, I think I see what you're saying. You're saying most people can't afford to wait decades to collect profits like Mr. Buffett can.
Yeah, there's simply not enough time. The majority of my readers are racing against time. Savings are at their lowest rate in history, and credit card debt is hitting an all-time high. Now look, I'm not hating on Mr. Buffett or any other billionaire investors for that matter who preach long-term investing. But the simple truth is, they have all the time in the world. They have a team of PhDs behind them, virtually unlimited capital, and a slew of other resources. Now, as regular folks, we need profits now, especially considering what's coming. Now, Grant, soon we're going to see a stock shock unlike anything in the last 2 decades, and I'm going to explain that in just a moment. Just understand, everyone has to prepare today, including you.
Yeah, I don't want to be caught off guard anymore with all my bills, my apartment, utilities, car, and everything else. After paying it all off, I've got limited cash to invest.
But Grant, what if I could prove to you that you don't need thousands of dollars, and you can start doubling, tripling your money in as little as a few days, regardless of if the markets are up or down, with as little as $100 or so? I mean, you'd probably say I'm a lunatic, right?
I would definitely be skeptical at the very least.
All right, so let me show you the true power of the one stock retirement strategy. Now, as we both know, markets have been as crazy as ever, but this actually helps us make more money. When I see an opportunity to place a one stock trade, I simply ignore all the noise in the markets. And check out what happened. In less than 12 days, we closed a single one stock trade for over 89%.
That's nearly double your investment?
Yeah, and you only needed $111 to make that trade. Now, you'd spend more on a night out in Miami.
Unfortunately, yeah. 89% is definitely a killer return in 12 days, but what else do you have?
Okay, well, think back to all the recent hype about buying the dip on stocks like Apple and Amazon, NVIDIA, Tesla, and all those others. Mainstream news was urging everyday folks to get in. And most people would think this would be a good bet. But instead, look at what happened. The NASDAQ, which holds all these tech stocks, plummeted 14%.
That's crazy. Did you get caught in the crash?
No. Instead, I recommended a one stock trade and we closed it for a 240% return. Now think about that. That's like handing someone $1,000 and they give you back $3,400. Now, how many times would you take that deal?
Every single day, if I could.
Well, exactly. That's my point. But Grant, it gets better because you only needed $165 to make that trade. Now, compare this to high-priced stocks like Apple or Tesla or Visa or whatever else. It's obvious. Your upside with the one-stock retirement strategy outweighs everything else. Take a look at this example. I recommended a one-stock trade predicting the market was due for a bull run. Now, this is at the same time that billionaire Bill Gates was selling nearly his entire stock portfolio. And like always, I ignore what everyone else is doing, and I traded my one stock. And boom, within just a little over a month, we closed the trade for a massive 352% return.
352%? That's crazy. That's nearly quadruple your investment.
Yeah, and it only took a few minutes to make the trade. Now, it didn't matter if the markets were up or down, and you could have turned every $1,000 into $4,520. Now, Grant, imagine doing this every week with just one stock over and over again. Now, can you see why I've been trying to get you to ignore risky crypto and tech stocks?
I can see now, yeah. But I've got to admit, I was just trying to pay my own past.
Well, I get it. I mean, it makes sense. You're not the only one. When I was your age, I wanted the same thing. And now, fortunately, over 4 decades, we've had some really good success. In total, I've helped over 79,000 people get back on track to accelerate in their retirement. I've helped readers double their money 13 times in the last year alone. But with all that being said, I haven't been able to sit down with you and demonstrate the power of the one-stock retirement strategy. And that's what I want more than anything. So get ready, because in a moment, you're going to place a one stock trade.
Look, Dad, it all sounds great, but it's only fair if I hit you with some tough questions.
Sure.
Because if your strategy is so powerful, why are people still buying crypto and tech stocks? Why isn't everyone simply using the one stock retirement strategy?
Well, that's a fair question, but think about it. If CNBC only talked about one stock, what's going to happen to the ratings? I mean, can you imagine them saying, look, the truth is you could ignore 99% of stocks. They could never promote a simple approach like this. I mean, the ratings would plummet, they'd lose advertisers, and they'd go bankrupt. And it's the same thing with Fidelity or E-Trade or Robinhood, all the rest. They want you trading everything all the time. That's how they make money. And people are blindly listening to them, investing their money only to lose 10% or 20 or 30%. And Grant, take a look at what was happening in the markets early last year. The NASDAQ dropped over 12%, and the S&P 500 fell 12%. Seeking Alpha said, yes, the crash will probably get worse from here. Forbes said, catastrophic stock market crash isn't over. Here's how much worse it could get. Most folks were losing their shirt.
And what did you do instead?
Well, I made 4 different one-stock trading recommendations.
Did one of them hit big?
No, all 4 trades hit big. We had a 61% return, 83%, 81%, and 239%. And this is happening all while the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 both dropped 12%. Granted, it's simple. One-stock retirement trades allow you to win in any market without having to invest thousands of dollars. And this is why I want you to quit trying to place lottery ticket investments on risky cryptos and digital images of pet rocks. It's a waste of time and resources. And frankly, Grant, time is your most important asset. Yahoo Finance currently reports 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. And I don't want this to be your reality years from now.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, good. Because I only want the best for you, son. You know that. And learning how to produce income on demand through trading could help you create your dream retirement. I mean, it's all about orchestrating a life that works well for you, Grant. And that's what true freedom is. And anyone can use this strategy to achieve it, which is kind of actually a great segue, because right now it's your turn to demonstrate a one-stock trade live right now.
All right, I think I'm ready.
All right, so take out your phone and we can do this in just a few seconds. And there it is. So just click confirm order and you're done.
Wow, it's that easy, huh? I thought it'd be a little bit more complex. My crypto investments are much more complicated than this. And to be clear, this is all I have to do once per month to potentially double my money in any market?
Yes, in any market, any situation. I've done this during America's biggest crashes. For instance, back in 2020, during the crash then, in a single day, the Dow plummeted 1,100 points. And CNN said it was the most in history. Millions of people lost their savings, their investments, and their jobs. Grant, I read a story from the New York Times about an accountant who said, everything has changed in a matter of minutes, seconds. Am I going to lose my house? Am I going to lose everything? But instead of getting caught in this $3 trillion wipeout, I used a one-stock retirement trade, and we closed a massive 373% gain in just 8 days. And better yet, it took only $75 to get in on the trade. And if you look at how this stacked up to the Dow during the exact same time, you would have lost 17% of your money.
Wait, so you lose 17% or you gain 373% in just a matter of days? Yeah, I think I'll go with your trade any day. At this point, it's all pretty clear to me. If this all means no more spending hours glued to a computer screen, no more trying to follow the news, and I won't have to wait 50 years to see a decent return, the one-stock retirement strategy sounds like my new game plan. But earlier you mentioned this is one of the most predictable stocks you trade. Why is that?
Well, yeah, it is. And to be transparent, the name of the stock is called the Van Eck Gold Miners ETF, or you can just use the symbol GDX for short. Now, GDX tracks an explosive group of gold stocks to the tune of $11.3 billion every day. And it's what I consider to be the world's most predictable stock. And whether the stock market's up or down or sideways or anything, you can leverage the power of GDX for the opportunity to extract massive profits. For example, when the Dow dropped more than 600 points, I recommended one simple trade on GDX as millions of Americans' portfolios turned blood red. Now, we snapped up a quick 75% gain. Or when the mainstream media was spouting market uncertainty, causing traders to put all their money on the sidelines, I didn't need to listen to any of it. Instead, I recommended a trade on GDX. giving readers a chance at a 100% gain. That's double your money. And when the market was pumping back to life, I recommended another trade on GDX. And sure enough, we saw a 107% gain in just 7 days.
Double your money in just 7 days? I think I'd take that any day.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know it can be kind of hard to believe at first, Grant, but it's true, and it boils down to this. Most investors never make a profit in the markets. And even those who do, it takes years. Or you can follow my trade recommendations and double, triple, quadruple your money in as little as a week's time. It's pretty straightforward, but there's one more reason why GDX is so special to trade and why I believe it to be so predictable. And it all comes down to what The Economist calls the world's most valuable resource. I'm talking about data. And since GDX closely follows the price of real physical gold, I literally have centuries of data to pull from to accurately predict the direction that GDX can move in any market condition. Now think about that. We have centuries of data to rely on.
You're saying the one stock retirement strategy is based on data over the course of centuries?
Exactly. And it's no different than how a supercomputer might extract quadrillions of data points to release one predictable outcome. The one stock retirement system that I created operates on the same principle, leveraging data to predict future moves before anyone else. And we pair a simple option trade on GDX to multiply our profit potential. So for every tiny move in GDX in any direction, an options play can make 5 to 10 times more money. And the results are stunning. Nearly 1 out of 3 of my winning GDX trade recommendations have led to 100% gains. That's doubling your money. I've helped folks see triple-digit gains over 59 times and double-digit gains over 332 times. My winners over the years, they speak for themselves.
I mean, it's really hard to deny those results.
Yeah, and these trades only take a few minutes to place. Now, Grant, you're not going to have to babysit a massive portfolio of stocks ever again. Simply leverage the power of the one stock retirement and you could collect years of returns in just days. And I'll tell you this, in a moment, I'm going to reveal my biggest prediction for the next 12 months and why we're going to witness a stock market shock unlike anything we've seen for decades. More importantly, Grant, I'm going to show you how to leverage this stock shock to double, triple, maybe even quadruple your returns.
This all sounds good to me, but what's the first step I can take to get started?
After 38 years of trading and helping folks accelerate their retirement dreams, I can confidently say all the work that goes into these trades is rather intense. And I'm not trying to give my readers a full-time job. So, for everyone watching right now, I've come prepared with a special action blueprint anyone can use to leverage this strategy in the next few minutes. It's called the One Stock Retirement Blueprint, how one stock can yield a retirement fortune. This is the key to opening up a world of trading few have ever seen.
Perfect. But to be fair, if I search for this anywhere else online, would I find the same information?
No, absolutely not. This is the only place that you're going to be able to grab this blueprint. And in this special blueprint, I'm revealing why I choose to ignore over 6,000 stocks in the market, focusing only on GDX. How this one stock could double your money over and over again. A step-by-step guide how you can place your first GDX trade for 35 times less than everyone else in the market. The $1 million information I refuse to share with Wall Street, now yours, 100% free. How this strategy allows you to book profits in any market, up or down, and much more. All the details are in the One Stock Retirement Blueprint. Now, Grant, this truly couldn't be any easier. I don't care what level of experience you have. This is by far one of the simplest ways to pull winning trades from any market condition in any situation. It's been a blessing in my life, and now I want you to master this strategy and continue our trading legacy. Because the One Stock Retirement strategy gives power back to anyone who's willing to give it a shot. The ability to collect returns of 86%, 100%, and 373% in as little as 8 days.
That's good, because I'm done watching my account crash 20%, 40%, 60% on a whim. This is definitely a change I know I need.
Good. I wasn't initially sure how you were going to take today's financial intervention, but I'm excited you're ready to start. But before I show you and all the folks at home how to access the report, I want everyone watching today to also get something I call the One Stock Retirement Video Masterclass. It's a no-nonsense approach to trading like a real pro, real skills that last a lifetime. The kind of skills that can help someone to retire using one single stock over and over again. A condensed version of everything I've learned in my entire career. Here's what I cover. the 5 basic chart patterns to dominate any market. The number one mistake newbies make with options and how to easily avoid it. How and when to take your profits off the table and when to let the rest ride for a potential 5 times return. You're also going to discover my secret to generating instant cash from the stock market with just a few clicks of the mouse. Now, all said and done, it's over 4 hours of the best trading tips and tricks that I know.
I mean, this is awesome. Generating instant cash sounds super helpful for the kind of market we're in. I know everyone will love watching this masterclass, mostly because of how much I know you love teaching.
I do definitely love teaching. You know, I've trained over 1,000 people to become licensed stockbrokers, and many of them wound up at firms like Merrill Lynch or Payne Weber.
Dad, that's super impressive. So how do viewers at home get access to the One Stock Blueprint and trading masterclass right now?
Well, it's simple. For all the viewers at home, I want to introduce you to what I call Jeff Clark Trader. Not only will you get all the blueprints, videos, and my decades of experience, but as a member, you'll also get a new one stock trade recommendation every single month. Each trade gives you an opportunity to multiply your money 2 times, even 3 times over. If you want, you can even get my trade alerts directed to your phone. It's going to look something like this.
Okay, awesome. So what's the price to join Jeff Clark Trader today?
Well, Grant, on our public website, it shows the price for a membership starts at $199 per year, which is it's a huge bargain. But today, it's different. You know, you can forget about paying $199 a year like normal. You won't even have to pay a fraction of that. But before you join Jeff Clark Trader, I want to sweeten the offer. I want you to have what I call the next 12, an urgent prediction for the next 12 months as America enters a new financial and social era. Now, look, contrary to what the TV personalities say, we're not at the bottom of the stock market. Trying to buy blue chip stocks or time the next bull run in tech stocks could ultimately be an awful financial decision, because soon we're going to see a stock shock wipe out millions of unsuspecting investors who thought the pain of this market was finished. Grant, take a look at this chart. We're in what's called a bull trap. This is where investors get fooled into thinking that we're on our way back to a normal market. And this is actually where the biggest losses begin, because we could get hit with a 20 or 30 or 50% crash from here. And I want to make sure that all my new members are ready for this, because you're going to need to prepare your investment accounts before October 1st, 2023. I'll show you what actions to take all inside this new report and why I believe this may create the biggest trading event in the last few decades.
Wow. Okay, I definitely want to give that a read as soon as possible. Dad, a moment ago you mentioned the price of Jeff Clark Trader retails for $199, but you also mentioned that new members wouldn't have to pay the price today.
Yeah, let's do a quick recap first. Here's what new Jeff Clark Trader members are going to receive today. The One Stock Retirement Blueprint, the One Stock Retirement Video Masterclass, the Next 12, an urgent prediction for the next 12 months as America enters a new financial and social era, 24/7 private access to Jeff Clark Trader, and a full 100% satisfaction guarantee from our customer support team in Delray Beach, Florida. This also includes the Jeff Clark Trader app, allowing you to get immediate alerts for a new trade recommendation no matter where you are. You're also going to get access to the model portfolio of our trade recommendations. And even better, this offer is 100% risk-free. Take 60 full days and power through the reports, the hours of masterclass videos, look through my portfolio and my new trade recommendations. And if you decide that it's not a good fit for you, no worries. Simply call our customer support team and they'll send you a full refund for your subscription cost. No questions asked. And if that sounds like a good deal to you, and you're ready to start your journey to financial freedom, potentially closing gains as high as 373% in as little as 8 days, regardless of market conditions, then all you need to pay for today's one-time offer is only $19.
Honestly, that's way lower than I would have expected. Seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, but this offer is only going to last a limited time. Simply click the button below this video to get a final look at today's special offer. And please remember, your next winning trade could be waiting right around the corner. And I want to make sure that you don't miss out.
This is great. This deal sounds like an amazing way to prepare for what's coming. I know for me, it can be paralyzing to put my money back into the markets when everything seems so chaotic.
Yeah, and this is why the One Stock Retirement strategy is perfect. It's predictable, and it has the power to forward years of returns down to just days. Take a look. These are just a few of the recommendations I've made, allowing my readers to double their money in any market.
I'm excited to say the least. There's nothing better than going to sleep at night knowing whatever happens in the market, I can make a profit.
Exactly. And when you become a Jeff Clark Trader member today, I'll send you my newest one stock trades directly to your phone or email. It couldn't be any more straightforward. Just click the Join Now button and you'll be taken to a page to grab all the final details.
Dad, honestly, I don't know what to say. In a weird way, it feels like you saved me years of financial pain. And honestly, it hurts showing you my 60% losses. But I'm confident now with your one stock recommendations, this will quickly turn around for me. And I hope everyone watching at home got something valuable from my lesson today too.
Exactly. Thank you, Grant. And like I said earlier, with the chaotic nature of this market, the opportunities to profit are going to become bigger and bigger. This is one of the best times to be in the market with the one stock retirement strategy. And to join us inside Jeff Clark Trader, it's simple. Click the button below and get all the final details. And I hope to see you on the inside. And Grant, thanks for being so understanding today, and I can't wait to see all the things that you're going to accomplish in the future.
Definitely. Thanks again, Dad.